Hey guys, EDDBUD here, and today I've got a 100-mile review for you of the Saucony Triumph 17. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications below so you're informed of when new videos are launched. I would be very appreciative. And hit that like button please. So I've finally hit 100 miles in this max cushioned beast from Saucony. It's been a blast, so let's get to the honest opinions on this one that I call both them a real all-rounder. So the upper is holding up very well over the first 100 miles. I've used this shoe on some slower recovery paces of around about 8 minutes 30 per mile, right up to 7 minutes per mile tempo and threshold type efforts. The upper runs true to size in my opinion. I typically go for a UK size 11 or a US size 12, and this one fits me just right. There's ample and appropriate room in the toe box. Certainly one of the most comfortable and accommodating uppers that I've tried of recent time. And you know, I've tried a lot of shoes out. It's like after a long journey, arriving at your hotel room and checking in with very minimal disruption. Your bed's comfortable, there's ample luggage space, and the little kettle that they put in the room has got a decently long cable for repositioning. It really is that comfortable. There's wonderful cushion over the top of the foot with that very padded tongue. I thought the tongue padding might be a little bit too much when I first got the shoe, but when you first put it on, you realise that it's top notch. I think the upper's breathable enough with the right socks. I have seen some reviews of this shoe that have stated that it is quite a warm shoe, but I've not really encountered too many problems. There's only been a couple of days where it's been very warm here in the UK. You know, for us, about 24 degrees is quite warm and people start moaning and complaining, but it really wasn't too much of a problem with the right socks. I think perhaps though, if you're in a warmer climate, it could be a little bit too toasty for you. The UK's had its 2 weeks of summer recently, but I found this one a-okay. Good lockdown from the slightly strange laces and no heel slippage whatsoever for me. In terms of upper, there's no degradation whatsoever. It's a winner. So I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 3, only taking away half a point from the slight bulkiness of the upper, and it could cause people in warmer climates a few issues. Onto the midsole now. Imagine that you're in that hotel room from earlier, fatigued from your arduous journey. You remove those Jordan 5s, hoping for fluffy, feathered relief underfoot to ease your aching feet. The soft carpet greets your toes in a climax of buttery midsole comfort. Too much flapjack. What I'm trying to say is that the Saucony Triumph 17's midsole cake mix of PWRRUN Plus is springy and almost bouncy to begin with. It reminds me a little bit of Tigger from the Winnie the Pooh stories. It's almost uncontrollable as you start running on it for the first time. That additional layer of foam just underneath the insole, called the form fit layer, adds the marzipan, and the excellent insole is the icing on this cake. Women, men and beasts can really enjoy the midsole in this one. Yes, there's lots of weight here. Everybody said this is quite a weighty shoe. It's a heavy sole. I'm not talking about the Paul Weller album. But has it caused any issues for me personally? No issues whatsoever. From mile 1 to 100, it's been a pleasure. How many shoes can you say that? Where you, every single mile that you've run in them, you've really enjoyed. Or maybe not enjoyed, but it's not caused me any distress or any discomfort whatsoever. Across all those different types of training runs, I've found that the energy return within the midsole of the Triumph 17 is stellar. It really is fantastic. A great shoe for recovery runs, maybe long runs, even a few miles at pace really if you wanted to. Both of them here is a real all-rounder thanks to this midsole. It's got to be a 3 out of 3 for midsole for me. It's one of the most enjoyable shoes I've worn in a long time. 5.5 out of 6 points is not a bad start. Onto the outsole now. Any hotel that you stay at has to have a bulletproof breakfast. When you get up in the morning, you want a good selection of cereals, some cooked fare, and a range of drinks on offer. That breakfast's got to be solid, and the outsole on the Triumph 17 is solid. I don't mean it's sort of inflexible, it's very flexible in fact. That crystal rubber barely looks like it's been touched. I know I'm not the lightest of strikers, but really there's almost no degradation or wear whatsoever. Certainly durable, hardly a scratch on this mighty traction pad here. There is a lot of rubber. Clark Griswold would take a long time to eat this rubber. That's one for you, Mr. Burmaster. It's shown grit and grip on all sorts of different surfaces. I've used this on some trails, some woodland areas, pavements, roads, even some grassy areas where I've had to take evasive action recently. Because, you know, some people just like walking directly towards you and make no attempt to move slightly off to the side of the track. I know I'm preaching to the converted here already. The outsole is barely marked, though I have detected a small problem. I'm going to try and show you here on camera. On the left shoe, I think you can probably see it there. The midsole outer layer is starting to crack slightly when the shoe is bent, when the front of the shoe curves. Let me, there. You can probably see it now. It only seems to be happening though on the left shoe. It's kind of like the outer paint section really is just cracking away. Very strange. I think if water or moisture were to get in there and get to the midsole, I think it could cause a few problems, certainly in terms of durability, and the possible lifespan of the midsole could be affected. It does seem to be where the outsole is glued to the midsole, so I am going to take away half a point from the outsole for this problem. I hope you think I'm being fair. I always try to be a fair man. So in terms of this breakfast of champions, we've got a slightly wonky, malfunctioning coffee machine and slightly overdone toast, but still a hearty, enjoyable meal. I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 3 for the outsole. You know nobody's going to copy this review style. It's mine and mine only. Just feel so hungry all the time at the moment. Really, I'm really hungry now. I want some donuts. And like a pizza. Maybe some dry roasted peanuts as well. That would really go down a treat right now. And one of those Kind bars. You know those Kind bars are really nice. Like the salted caramel one. Anybody would think that I did like a 8-mile run at tempo pace earlier and got a bit dehydrated and perhaps used up a bit more energy than I expected to. The last factor is that of value. I picked this one up for £130 and I don't regret a single pound. It's a fantastic shoe. I think when you roll up to a hotel and it looks a little quirky, it looks a little odd, perhaps a bit dated, you know, a bit like me for example, you wonder to yourself, have I made a bad choice here? I like the quirky aesthetics of this one. I think it's a little bit like Kit from Knight Rider, possibly a Batman shoe. Yeah, Batman could knock out a few 10Ks when things are a bit quieter, so he doesn't have to sort of sit in and play chess with Alfred. Perhaps it's something from a Tony Hawk's late 90s skater video game. Certainly I think it's a real visual triumph, and I think taking into account the superb durability, you're going to get serious miles from this shoe before it capitulates. That foam's going to keep on going for some time. I think for value, I'm going to give this one a 2.5. If it was a tad lighter, it would make it a tiny bit more versatile, and I think I would have given it the 3. It's quite a weighty shoe. So a high-scoring pinball wizard total of 10.5 out of 12 for the Saucony Triumph 17 at 100 miles. A bonus test, the EDDBUD smell test. Here we go. The man from Yeovil, he said yes. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 for the smell test. There's even a hint of new shoe smell in there. How is this possible? This one's got a real heavy hammering. Even today. I did 8 miles in this shoe today, and there's still a small hint of new shoe smell. What a result, ladies and gentle spoons. Didn't they do well? This review's been completely mad, but I hope it's provided you with some light entertainment. From a more sensible perspective now, I highly recommend this really well-fitting shoe. It's made with some quality here. Aside from a small issue I've got with some slight cracking on the midsole outsole of one of the shoes, I think this one could be an ideal choice for a runner looking for a long run shoe, perhaps for recovery too, and even a little sprinkling of tempo work here and there. A great shoe, like an album that you just can't stop listening to. It's a winner, and it receives the Beast Award for greatness. Musical interlude. I dug this one back out. Paul Weller, Heavy Soul. This was released in 1997. This is like a cool, expanded edition with loads of extra bits and postcards and stuff. Heavy Soul, Peacock Suit, and There to Inspire You are some of my favourite tracks from this one. Great sort of 60s garagey mod sound. Some super guitar tones on this one if you're into that. Perhaps Guitar Man out there. I know you're into those sorts of sounds. So do check this one out if you haven't already. Heavy Soul from Paul Weller. Okay, it's time for me to go and eat some pizza and some donuts and some dry roasted peanuts. Hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when new videos are launched. Hit that like button and put your comments below about the Saucony Triumph 17. Share this video with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you